Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
Did I miss my cue, or did you not? Something wrong?
Something went wrong, but fire now.
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. We are recapping the week's nerdy news from the Death Star to Mordor and everywhere in between. My name is Mike Gibson. With me as always is Steve Haller. What's up, Steve?
Well, some technical difficulties if you're watching us live, but beyond that, go check out the 2 episodes we literally just recorded about House of the Dragons episode 6 and Andor episodes 1 through 3. Because we've had a busy night already. And if it's in your podcast feed, you've got 2 episodes sitting in front of you already.
Yeah. We knew this was coming. We knew this like late August, September glut of content was coming. And we're right in the middle of it now. So much so that we can't even review every show that we're watching every week. We've chosen House of the Dragon the last couple weeks over Lord of the Rings. And now we're doing Andor because we love Star Wars, and we've chosen that over, Lord of the Rings or She-Hulk. But just up front, we'll say right now while we're talking about shows, She-Hulk is amazing. I love it to death.
Yes,
and,
very much so.
Lord of the Rings is also great. And I like that. I love that show as well. Lots of great stuff going on. Are you caught up with Lord of the Rings?
I am caught up on both, and
I am. I'm a week behind on She-Hulk. I haven't been able to get to last week's.
I got that last night. So, slid it in there.
Nice.
But yeah, I think both of those are well worth us reviewing if we had more time and whatnot.
Yep. Yeah, or if someone was paying us to do this and we could just do it all the time, we did it every night. Yeah, then absolutely we could. That'd be great. If someone out there wants to pay us to do this, we'll talk about She-Hulk till we're dead, if you want. Depending on if you're paying us that much money, we're in. But like Steve was saying, there is in your feed an episode of the House of the Dragon and Andor 1 through 3. If you are so inclined to listen to those things, they're spoiler filled. So, if you haven't watched them, maybe wait till after you've watched those things. And also you should watch Lord of the Rings because it's great. And you should watch She-Hulk because it's great. We love those things too. So anyway,
absolutely.
One of the reasons we thought we would be able to do 3 episodes in one night is because not a huge week for regular nerdy news, I gotta say. Kind of some like low-key stories, not a ton to really dig into. So this might be kind of a short episode. Might be the shortest episode we've ever done. We'll have to see. And we're kicking off with Star Wars.
Yeah.
A story that, I don't know why I paused for so long just then.
Yeah. Well, there's so few stories this week that you're thinking it's one-shots. So you're just waiting. You're like, all right, Steve, come on.
Yeah, spoiler alert for the end of this episode. There's no one-shots this week. No one-shots. All the stories are just smallish enough. I don't know. There was nothing smaller than the ones that we had, I guess. I don't know. So this could have been assumed, I think, this first story, but is now official. James Earl Jones has officially retired as the voice of Darth Vader. We kind of knew it was all but confirmed that Vader's voice in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series was done using the respeecher technology, the same technology they used to make Mark Hamill sound like 1980 Mark Hamill in Mandalorian and Boba Fett episodes. And we knew that pretty much because, we knew that they were dabbling in that technology. We also knew that when we heard, certainly no offense to Mr. Jones, but when we heard his vocal cameo in Rogue One and in Rise of Skywalker, you could tell that he sounded like he was 90 years old.
Right.
Still sounded...
Which, of course, he is.
He is. I think he's 91 now, as of this recording. So, apparently, while he was recording his very brief, I believe, one-line cameo in Rise of Skywalker, he mentioned to Lucasfilm sound editor Matthew Wood that he was, quote, looking to wind down his time as Darth Vader. And I guess I don't know when they started looking into this kind of technology, but eventually they presented the respeecher technology to James Earl Jones and said, "This is what we can do. This is what it sounds like," and he very enthusiastically signed off on letting them use that technology to recreate the voice, using his voice to recreate the character of Darth Vader for Obi-Wan and into the future as many times as they need to recreate that voice, I guess, which is a little creepy. And I know there are a lot of people that are anti this. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I'm fine. I'm more okay with it because I know that the actors themselves have signed off on it. I know Mark Hamill still does. He does motion capture on set for all of the Luke Skywalker stuff still.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still heavily involved.
Yeah. So I know James Earl Jones is not doing motion capture for Vader. He was never in the suit in the first place. He was only ever the voice. But the voice is a huge part of that character, so I understand them needing that to move forward. But I don't know. Thinking about them making Star Wars content 20 years from now, after, you know, a lot more of the original cast are dead, but them having them be computer animated ghosts with the same voice is kind of strange. It's kind of eerie to think about it like that.
I give you that.
Like, Darth Vader's going to sound like that 50 years from now, after James Earl Jones, God rest his future soul, is probably long dead, you know? And yet Darth Vader will still sound like him. And that's a little eerie. Like, there's good voice actors that have voiced Darth Vader in other things, in Clone Wars and Rebels and video games and things like that, you know? It's okay to let it go to another actor. It's okay. You don't have to just, like, prop up a ghost to deliver your product, you know?
We've shown numerous times that other actors can pull it off. See,
Yeah, exactly.
Aaron Reich or Glover.
Yeah, right. But, you know, we all know that they're scared of doing that now that because Solo wasn't a huge hit.
Was supposedly bad.
Supposedly bad. Yeah, I love that movie. I don't know.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Every time I watch it, it's still really good.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know.
So anyway, that's the story. How do you feel about? Are you cool with him still being Darth Vader? I am more or less fine with it. Again, because he signed off. But when you think about it like that, it's just kind of.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of those where, it's weird without him, but
yeah,
at the same time, like, it's been without him before technically, and they made it sound fine. So
yeah,
I don't think anybody's kicking themselves for this or over it. Like, he's 90, like you said. He's kind of he's earned it. He's been there.
Yep.
So, yeah, should be celebrating whoever the next person is and honoring Mr. Jones in his God, how long's it been? 50-year reign as
at least, yeah, right?
Or 45, right?
45
was,
oh, okay, yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like they're scared to pass the baton to anybody else. For fear of losing fans or something, but I don't know, they shouldn't be.
It boggles my mind because they keep kind of saying that, but it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
At all.
I don't know. Anyway, thank you, James Earl Jones, for being such a prominent part of my nerddom. We salute you. Moving on from Star Wars into some Marvel stories. Very thankful that we don't have any negative, disgusting Warner Brothers Discovery doing terrible things to DC news this week. Although I will shout out, this wasn't really a huge story, but Leslie Grace has shared a couple behind the scenes, like, TikTok videos or Instagram stories of pictures and shots, footage from her rehearsing, from her on set, from screenshots of Batgirl. So if you want to see some real quick clips of her fighting Firefly in a burning elevator, or I don't know, just like doing some cool somersaults and looking all beat up and stuff, like, I don't know, this is gonna be good. I also saw, speaking of Batgirl, I saw a clip of a stunt where she was coming, like, crashing through the ceiling of a ballroom and grabbing onto a Christmas tree and riding the Christmas tree down to the floor, and, like, the camera moved kind of around her as she was doing it. It was awesome.
Okay.
Just makes me mad that we're still not getting this movie. we're never gonna get it, and it's a bummer. I hope that when they do, I hope that they eventually introduce a Batgirl, and it's played by Leslie Grace, and they almost remake the exact same movie, and then we somehow get something of what we were supposed to get. I'm sure that will never happen. But anyway, if you're interested to see that stuff, you can check that out. I think I am Leslie Grace on social media and on TikTok, and that stuff's out there if you want to check that out, because it's very cool.
That's one of those I'm definitely not holding my breath for, but would absolutely love to see.
Oh yeah, for sure. No breath shall be held. So okay, let's go on to some Marvel stuff. Last week we talked about how they had found a director for Fantastic Four. Matt Shakman, who directed and showran WandaVision, is coming back to do the Fantastic Four movie. They also found writers to write that Fantastic Four movie in Jeff Kaplan and Ian Springer. Apparently, they were found before the announcement of Matt Shakman at D23. They were already on board. And this report says that Kaplan and Springer, quote, have been outlining where this next series of films will fit into the Marvel Cinematic Universe alongside Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige, and now are, quote, aligning their visions with Matt Shakman now that Matt Shakman is on board. So they haven't even technically started the script yet, but they are.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah, pretty wild. This movie's coming out in 2 years, and they haven't started writing it yet. Man, Marvel. Cutting it pretty close there, guys.
Yeah, I mean, allegedly 2 years.
Get ready, VFX houses. Get ready.
Right, already start freaking out because you're going to need it.
Yeah, start drinking now. It's gonna be a rough road to Fantastic Four. It's supposed to come out November 8th, 2024. So we're literally just almost, we're a month away from it being 2 years to the date.
Okay.
From starting a script. I know, but we hear stories all the time about how they rewrite the third act while they're filming and stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be something that they're like. They've got to have something going on. You know what I mean?
I'm sure Feige has like this is how it's got to be. It's got to start here and end here.
Right. Yeah, I could see that where it's, it just gives them the broad strokes and.
Yeah, because who knows?
They figure it out from there.
It's possible that we will be introduced to the Fantastic Four in not a Fantastic Four movie. They might show up in a post-credit scene, or might come in Ant-Man and the Wasp or Quantumania or something.
Yeah.
So it could be Kevin Feige being like, "Yo, they come through a portal in Ant-Man, and by the end of their movie, they have to be fighting Doctor Doom on a mountaintop or something. Like that's got to be here's point A and point B. You connect the dots, make it happen."
So. I wonder. I still wonder whether they're going to bring Doom in this, or like maybe it's a cameo of a flashback of him and Reed in college or something, or like who the hell knows. I feel
like they have to. If he's not fully in it, they have to allude to him in some way, like you said, either a cameo or some kind of reference.
Yep.
But I think they're doing themselves a disservice if they don't introduce that character in some way around the same time that we get the Fantastic Four. I don't know, because I feel like I trust the MCU is going to do a better job with the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom than either of the previous cinematic incarnations of those characters.
Way to set the bar really high there, Mike.
Yeah, I know, but you'd think that they want to set up Doctor Doom as a long-term villain, a long-term antagonist.
That's kind of why I'm wondering whether they're gonna focus on him in this, or whether it's like he gets dropped in this or in like Kang Dynasty or something like that.
Well, that's true. Like we could meet him in a separate movie as well, and it could be a while before they butt heads. We could get a whole. He could be the subplot of the second Shang-Chi movie or something. Like you never know. And then it's built up until there's a conflict with the Fantastic Four. Who knows? We'll have to find out. We will find out for sure on November 8th, 2024, when the Fantastic Four movie shows up in theaters. Speaking of Marvel movies that will be in theaters much sooner. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just thinking, because it's Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, isn't it?
Yes.
Wouldn't Doom kind of have to be around for Secret Wars?
I mean, I guess if they are, it depends on if they're taking too much from the comic.
right. They've rewritten things so many times. Like,
Yeah, it could be one of those things where they just take a cool title.
right.
You know?
Take the Illuminati, grab a bunch of people that may or may not have been associated with it at various times, and throw them all together.
Yeah, Age of Ultron. That
Right.
wasn't the comic book storyline, just a cool title.
Yeah.
They came right out and said it's a good title for a movie, so we're using it. So we don't know. We won't know until
I mean,
until we
Infinity
get there.
War, the Infinity Saga compared to the Infinity Saga.
Wildly different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? There's no
Wildly
Lady
different.
Death in this?
Yeah, I know. Oh, he's not doing this just to impress a woman that he's in love with?
Right.
No?
Some galactic goddess? Oh, weird.
Yeah. No Silver Surfer. No Adam Strange. Adam
No.
Warlock. Sorry, Adam Strange is DC. There's too many Stranges and Adams.
When you
that
said Adam
cross
Strange,
over.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is right and wrong at the same time, and I can't figure out what's wrong.
Yeah, Adam Strange, Doctor Strange, Adam Warlock, and I don't know, just a bunch of crossovers.
There's probably a DC character named Dr. Warlock, just
Dr.
to complete
Warlock,
it.
Yeah, exactly. If there isn't, there should be.
Right.
Let's
They're
keep
missing
going on that,
things here.
DC. Yeah. But anyway, speaking of movies that are going to be coming out much sooner than the Fantastic Four, this November, I believe, right? Isn't this November?
Yes. Yes, this
We
November.
got some cool quotes and insights from director Ryan Coogler and the cast of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And this isn't really much of a story, as I thought it was an interesting kind of insight. Like I said, I guess they were starting to do promotion for the film in some way, and Ryan Coogler was asked about the differences between his original draft of the movie that was written and conceived prior to the death of Chadwick Boseman, who played T'Challa in the original Black Panther movie, and what had to change and what that process was like. And regarding the differences, he said that Coogler calls Wakanda Forever spiritually very similar to his original idea. And the only thing I can take from that is it probably still had to do with Namor, the Submariner, showing up in that kind of way. But he went on to say that this unique group, meaning the actors, is more like a band than it is a group of actors. And Chad was our lead singer. So for me, it was like, how do I figure out a song they can still get up there and sing in light of what we're dealing with? How do you carry on in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds? And in that way, that last quote, how do you carry on in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, that became the theme of the movie. And it worked very well because it mirrored what they were all feeling in real life. Like, how can we possibly move forward without this guy that was the anchor of our first film? So in that way, I guess it was very cathartic and fit very well for what they were dealing with in real life versus the thrust of the film itself. So I found that to be intriguing. Lupita Nyong'o quoted as saying, once we lost Chadwick Boseman, the thought that we could go on, it was just unfathomable to me. When Ryan ended up sharing, what Ryan ended up sharing with me was just so utterly truthful and beautiful. By the end of it, I was in tears. So that certainly is a positive quote for the film.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that's a very positive quote for the film.
Yeah.
They are also on a press tour, so they're not going to say anything bad about it. But like,
of course,
to specifically call out, like, after what happened to Boseman, Coogler showed me the direction we were going, and it had me in tears. Is like, that's a little beyond maybe maybe this is hyperbole. Like,
right? Yeah.
Seems very genuine.
Yeah. And then, of course, the question that Letitia Wright is going to be getting the entire press tour until we see more trailers or until the film is released. Letitia Wright was asked point blank if she was going to end up being the new Black Panther. And she said, "That's a tricky question to answer. I had a chat about it with Ryan and Chad when we were making Black Panther, and we touched on it briefly." And that's all she said. So you talked about it when you were making the first movie. You didn't talk about it at all when you were making Wakanda Forever. You sure about that?
It didn't come up. I don't know.
Yeah. So
oh God,
she didn't say no, but she's being cagey about it, and I don't know. I think I don't know. I think there's going to be a Panther in it, but a Black Panther in it, but I don't know that it'll be her necessarily. I feel like it could be a bait and switch. Marvel likes doing that every once in a while. They might make us think it's going to be one thing, and then it ends up being Lupita Nyong'o or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd be down with anything they really want to do. Because based on that first trailer, this movie looks fire. Very excited for it, for sure.
Yes. Yeah, and I think even when it was announced, I think the hype was still there. Like, I've been excited about this since the minute I heard about it. So
yeah, no. As soon as I saw that trailer, I was like, "Oh, this is the most excitement I've had for a Marvel thing in a really long time." And even just reading these quotes, I was like, "Oh, yep, I'm still excited for this movie. Still can't wait to see this." Yep.
And I mean, yeah, that trailer, Jesus.
Yeah,
definitely
gonna have to do.
The way that music hit was just like, they nailed it. It was just too perfect.
Yeah, and also the colors are just so like bright. Contrast was like super dark blacks and hugely bright reds and blues and greens. And just everything was amazing.
Yep.
Can't wait for it. Just looked gorgeous. Yeah, I can't wait for this movie.
That might be my return to theaters for a actual midnight showing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because I still haven't been to an actual like theater with more than 3 people in it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that one will definitely be worth it.
I think so.
No offense to Black Adam, but that one's on my calendar.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine, understandable. Moving right along. This is our last story.
I was going to say, moving right along to the end of the podcast.
Yeah, but it's also a quarter of midnight, so we've spent plenty of time talking tonight. There's a new Iron Man game in development from EA's Motive Studios. It's going to be a single-player action-adventure game that is, quote, an original narrative that taps into the rich history of Iron Man, channeling the complexity, charisma, and creative genius of Tony Stark, and enabling players to feel like what it's like to truly play as Iron Man. So this seems kind of in line with, I feel like this newer, more modern wave of successful superhero games is really like tuning into the character, whether we're talking about the Arkham Batman games or like the Spider-Man game came out a couple years ago. Like, they're really like, what is unique about this character that makes the game a unique game, and not just putting the same character into like a bunch of levels where they're punching their way out. Sorry, my alarm's going off. Punching their way out of issues, whatever the conflicts are. Like, okay, it's Batman, so there's going to be detective stuff, and he's going to have to solve stuff. It's Peter, so or Spider-Man, Peter or Miles, so there's going to be like cool like web slinging challenges and things like that, like, open world city and stuff. And if they're able to do that with Iron Man, then great. I feel like I'm not, because I grew up in an era where no one gave a shit about Iron Man until the movie. Like, I like Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, but I don't feel a connection to the general character of Iron Man. And it's not like I started buying Iron Man comic books just because the character in the movie was interesting suddenly. So it's gonna have to see if, I don't know that I'm pumped for this based on just an announcement. But Marvel has been really popping up, stepping up their video game presence, I feel like.
I'm curious about it because it's Motive, which is EA, so it's got me down on that. But it was also like Motive also did Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Star Wars Squadrons, which Squadrons was phenomenal. Battlefront 2 was great. But
I like Battlefront 2 a lot.
Yeah, like, it just wasn't. Shooters aren't my cup of tea, but but like, I played the hell out of Squadrons. They're redoing Dead Space. What was it, 98 that came out, the original?
Oh man, that long ago?
Yeah. But if you're in for a horror game, you're in for a horror game. I'm sure it's right up your alley.
Yeah,
so we'll see. Oh, 2008. Jeez, it wasn't that far away or that long back. Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be good. It's probably going to be fine.
We'll have to see.
Like,
I know
it'll show up. Actually, the saving grace with that it's EA is it'll show up relatively quickly on that EA Play that's like $3 a month or something.
Oh yeah, sure.
So
yeah. I feel like for a while Marvel was just doing a thing where they would just pump out a shitty game to try to like make
for the name
money.
on it.
Like,
yeah.
there was like a there was a bad Iron Man game, I think, after the first or second Iron Man movie came out.
Oh, yeah?
There was a bad Incredible Hulk game based on that movie when that came out. There was a great old Incredible Hulk game called Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, which is amazing. It was kind of like the Spider-Man game, but for Hulk with worse graphics. Like there was giant open worlds, and you could just smash anything and pick up cars and clobber people with cars, and it was awesome. I wish they would remake that game. That'd be dope.
Was that Hulk for the PlayStation 2?
No, it's called Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction.
Oh, you just said that. Never mind.
Yeah, it's okay. But yeah, I mean, in the last few years, we've gotten the Marvel Spider-Man game and the Miles Morales Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
The Avengers, which was mixed reaction. Guardians of the Galaxy. Midnight Suns is coming out in December. And they've already announced, we've seen a trailer for Spider-Man 2 and a teaser for a Wolverine game that are in development. So, that's cool.
Cap Black Panther game, too.
Oh, yeah, and the Captain America Black Panther game they just announced at D23. Yeah, you're right. So, yeah, a lot of cool stuff coming out from Marvel in the video game world.
I still got to play that Guardians game. I heard nothing but good things, but...
I've started it. I'm midway through. It's great. It
Nice.
is a lot of fun. Yeah, it's really cool. It's only one player, but they utilize the team in a way that I thought was very unique. And
Nice.
It still makes it feel like a team cooperative game, even though you're playing just by yourself. It's really great.
Sweet.
And they kind of capture the feeling of the characters from the movies in a way that the Avengers game tried and failed to do, I think.
I feel like the Avengers game was very good at, like you said, of doing this is a specific skill set for each character.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like there was no feeling of cohesiveness. It was just like, I am Hulk, I smash things.
Yeah, that's a game that I played for a little bit and haven't gone back to.
Yeah, same.
And I should, just so I get my money's worth, I guess, but I don't know. From the reviews I've read, I don't know if it's possible to get my money's worth, to be honest with you. But
I thankfully I downloaded it when I had my Xbox on Game Pass. So it was like free-ish to download because it was $10 a month for the Game Pass. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Yeah. And I played a couple hours of it, and that was that.
Yeah, same. I'll get back to it someday.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that every day for the rest of my life.
Right.
And never get back to it.
There's a lot of things that I say that about. Like my giant stack of comics sitting over here.
I was just going to say the same thing. Like my giant stack of comics, segueing perfectly into this week's comics. This week in your local comic book store, you got Action Comics 1047, Ant-Man number 3, Batman Beyond the White Knight number 5, Briar number 1, Captain America Symbol of Truth number 5, DC Horror presents Sergeant Rock versus Army of the Dead. I believe that is the book that is being written by the one and only Bruce Campbell. So check that out. Just in time for Halloween. Also, DC versus Vampires number 9, Detective Comics 1064, 8 Billion Genies number 5, Grimm number 5, Harley Quinn number 22, House of Slaughter number 9, Human Target comes back with issue 7, I Hate This Place number 5. I read issue 1 of I Hate This Place recently, and I thought it was great, and I'm going to get the trade when it comes out. Very, very cool. I'm shocked that this next thing is on issue 3, and I haven't heard anything about issue 1 or 2. Get a load of this name. Man, Goat, and Bunny Man, Green Eggs, and Blam. Yo. Sold. Sold. Green Eggs and Blam alone is enough to make me pick up that book. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, issue 100. Star Wars Dr. Aphra, issue 24. Star Wars Han Solo and Chewbacca, number 6. Superman Space Age, number 2. This is a very cool book from DC that I picked up on a whim. It kind of like tells the origin of the Justice League through historical means, kind of like through Vietnam and the Cold War, like really military industrialists kind of going head to head. Lex Luthor versus Bruce Wayne, who gets the military contract, and Superman's kind of caught in the middle. It's really interesting. It was really cool. So check out Space Age number 2. Thor number 27. Tim Drake Robin number 1. My boy is back in the Robin suit. Vampirella Year 1 number 3. And X-Men 15. This was merely a fraction of the books that are coming out this week. There are tons and tons of great books coming out every week, but especially this week at your local comic book shop. So check those out.
Yeah,
Steve, is there anything that you're... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think that Han and Chewie I'm going to pick up in a collected. Afra, I had to laugh. I sent you that picture earlier in the week. I somehow, on a whim, back in the day, got a slabbed Dr. Afra 3 that I bought for $65. That is now like 300 something. I was like, yeah,
Woo!
Yay,
Nice.
wins.
Nice. Is it in good condition?
It's a 9.6.
You have it graded?
Oh yeah, it's a graded 9.6.
Oh, you bought a graded one.
Yep.
Oh, okay, awesome. Wow.
Yeah, it's
Congratulations. then,
literally my only graded comic sitting around here.
Yeah, I don't have any. None of my stuff is graded. I should find some stuff. And
That was a random sale. I think Cloud City was doing like a 30% off or everything in this all back issues or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I got the thing for a steal, and I was like, "Are you sure, Jeff?" He's like, "Yeah, it's great." Here we are. I'm like, "Okay, cool. I like it."
Okay, I'll take it. Perfect. Well, cool. Like I said, there's no one shots. Anything else that you want to touch on, Steve? Anything else we should bring up, talk about?
Well, if you're listening to this and you care anything about House of the Dragon or Andor, feel free to check out our other episodes. We did 2 others tonight, so you can find them in your podcast feed on your podcatcher of choice. You can find them on YouTube with some fancy new thumbnails. You can check them out as VODs on Twitch, twitch.tv/The Multiverse Report, The Multiverse Report everywhere else except for Twitter. It's Multiverse RPT. TheMultiverseReport.com. Check us out. Leave us some feedback. Leave us some reviews. It's really appreciated. Helps us, trick the algorithms into letting more people listen to us.
Yeah. Sorry. I mistimed when I set my alarm for. I thought we'd be done by now. But we were done by now. I guess that's it. Again, kind of a short episode, but, what are you going to do? We're at the mercy of the news cycle, so you get what you get. But we love you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And until next time, we'll see you in the multiverse.
Okay. At maybe 30 minutes, that is easily our 31 minutes and